in the panel to mix it up. Jane Hamsher, founder of the blog Firedog Lake, and Matt Lewis, blogger and columnist with politicsdaily.com. Pleasure to see you both. I'll start with you, Jane, here in New York. For all the desperate cries for a policy debate in this country, why is it that every time I cover politics in this election, I've got Crystal Ball out of Virginia defending herself for being called a whore, as opposed to having an actual debate about policy in Virginia? And when I look at these excerpts, it's again Dick Blumenthal's a liar and Linda McMahon is a weasel, but neither one is having any debate about job creation, monopoly health insurance, the war in the Middle East. Is there any context for an actual debate among politicians who would actually talk about things that we're actually doing as a country? Well,
you know, if you listen to the debate, they actually did talk about some of that stuff, but that isn't what gets the headlines. It's not what gets the notice.
But is it what gets you elected?
I think that in that particular case, because it's become so dominated by the fact that, you know, 7 people died when Linda McMahon, in the past year since she's become a candidate, and she has tried to absolve herself of responsibility. She can't even say that steroids are harmful to your health because of legal liability. So she's kind of boxed in. They're not letting people near the candidate anymore, even. So, you know, what's going to happen? It's hard to take it into the realm of policy when she's already sort of made a mockery of her own campaign.
Matt Lewis, should we be surprised at the lack of actual decent policy debate, let alone policy reform in this country, when we can't even get politicians to debate policy or engage in policy, when the easiest way to get your job is to assassinate the character of your opponent?
Well, it sure ain't Lincoln Douglas, I'll tell you that, Dylan. We've come a long way. Unfortunately, it seems like this has become like a reality TV show more than actual elections. And we see it in California. We see it. I mean, tonight in Delaware, there's going to be a former witch versus a former Marxist. That's really the top billing. I mean, it's not about ideas. It's not about jobs. Unfortunately, they get rewarded for this. Why do they do what they do? Because we reward them for this. The media and the voters is unfortunate, but this is the current state of democracy.
If you were to try to launch an intervention, Jane, on behalf of those who would want to avert the race to the bottom and resurrect a race to the top for the quality of the debate, where would you even begin?
Well, in 1994, when Newt Gingrich had the contract with America, they had been sort of, running those at the state level in order to try and test them. So they knew what their message was, and they repeated it over and over again. The lack of ability of either party really to articulate a clear message or vision for the future has left candidates talking about masturbation and witchcraft and sort of, wallowing in this stuff. And it's really fed the worst part of the, massively funded advertising campaign.